Okay, we're golden.
Okay, I call a meeting of the Coos County Area Transportation District Board of Directors and the Coos County Area Transportation District Advisory Committee to order on this festive Powerless Society Day in some parts of Coos Bay. Okay, could we get a roll call for a quorum, please, Melissa?
Director VC.
Present.
Director Dovenspike.
Present.
Director Johnson. Director Clausen.
Here.
Director Mason Long. Director Nelson.
Here.
Director Baker.
Here.
And then for the advisory committee, Lauren Morris.
Here.
Michael Babcock.
Here.
Mike Marchant. Lindsay Ward. Harper Thompson.
Here.
Michelle McIntyre.
3, 3, 5.
So yeah, we have a quorum of the board. Currently, we do not have a quorum of the advisory committee as we only have 3 of the 6. Also today with us, we have Jane Stebbins and Selena Kelly.
And David.
Oh, sorry, David.
TV guy.
And David Repka.
Okay. Okay, so we've got call to the joint meeting. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes. What on item number
90?
Yeah, first I would under service curtailment, that's under new business item D. It's the background is currently framed as potential implementation starting January 1st. I would like to kind of broaden that and have the board discuss if there's a potential start date before January 1st that we could implement. And then under the fair ordinance, that's item E under new business. There will be discussion following the motion to read the ordinance in title only to discuss a potential amendment to the fair ordinance. Those are the 2 adjustments to the agenda.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, we have citizens' comments on agenda items, which should be interesting. Let's see, might not have power. They don't have to give up the power. Okay. Consent agenda. Could we get a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
A motion, we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any questions on any of the consent agenda? Any comments or anything you want to bring up about the consent agenda before we vote on it?
I just want to say about the outreach there, and I was really impressed with the outreach, especially at the stand down. You got quite a big percentage of people that were willing to take applications and then to return it with like 40% returning on that, all the people that gave it. And that was just, I think that was great. I think your outreach has been really exceptional.
And that was fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more we get out there to inform them of their chances to ride a bus. It's just the people don't have an understanding. It's available.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments before we vote? All those in favor to accept the consent agenda as presented, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Thank you. Old business. Since we don't have a forum of our committee, we'll probably have to bypass that, right, Coach?
That is correct.
Got it.
Good job.
Thank you. B, Melissa, do you want to talk about the update on our solicitation 53110?
Sure. So as a part of the STIF and 5310, those are two funding streams that come to our service area. One is payroll tax and the other is federal funds. We are required to put that out, publish a solicitation to see if there are transit service providers who can potentially augment our services. And we have done this as part of our process every biennium, and it is historically, it is true that we generally do not receive any responses to this solicitation. This biennium is no different than years past. Coos County Area Transportation District is the service provider for our area. And so this is just an update so that we have it in our meeting minutes that we did post and we did not receive any responses.
Thank you, because if we don't say that, someone will come down the road and say, oh, by the way, and we have to make sure we do it properly. Excellent. Thank you. Do you want to give us a little discussion on the new business, the consulting services?
Thank you. On July 30th, the district posted a request for proposals to help us develop the project concept and do a site assessment for our Coos Transit Center and Mobility Hub. We had several entities go through the question and answer period. However, we only received one proposal from Crow Clay and Associates, and that response was provided in your packet, and it did come within our expected budget.
Well, that's good. I know you can't anticipate this, but why do you think other businesses don't apply to get this opportunity to bid? Do you have any from your previous background, Melissa?
I really don't have an answer to that.
Mike Clausen, veteran.
There's a lot of work out there, and it takes a lot of work to even put a proposal together to try to get. I think other firms looked at it and thought their chances of getting it and the amount of money that they could make on it wouldn't be worth their while to put the effort out to do it. That's the only reason I think they would not do it. Yeah.
I think it's
Go
likely, sorry.
Go ahead, Jane.
I think it's likely that anybody who's not right in our area is probably being really careful about taking projects here because we're so remote and there have been so many issues with getting supplies and getting things processed in a timely way. It's probably a bigger risk these days if you're out of town.
Good perspective. Excellent. Any other people have got any comments on that before we have a motion?
I kind of think it's nice that it is in town. We're supporting, a company here in town, and they've done a lot of great projects, it looks like, and
They've done projects and they've got a great reputation.
yeah,
Great reputations are run.
yes.
Did I get a motion from the floor?
For the negotiation of the contract between Crow Clay and CCAT.
Got a motion on the floor and a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion and a second. Any more comment? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Move forward, bus on. Okay. Go ahead, Melissa, about the QE project review.
Thank you. So as you're aware, as part of the biennium, we submit applications for discretionary funds. And as a qualified entity, which Coos County Area Transportation District is a qualified entity, then we are the fiscal agent for our area. And ODOT has asked us to submit both the advisory committee and board of directors to submit our formal support of all of the applications that have been submitted for as a discretionary grant. So that they can note that and assign, they potentially may assign points to that when they're considering from a state perspective what discretionary grants they should fund. Our service area only received one application, which is the Coos Transit Center and Mobility Hub. So we do not need to rank, but the advisory committee and board of directors are asked to formally take a position to fund or do not fund this project. As the advisory committee cannot make a formal action, what I will do is provide the previously, we do have from previous grant applications, we do have their letter of support. So Lauren, with your permission, I will share that letter of support that was provided previously.
Yeah. You absolutely have my permission to do that.
Thank you.
Okay, can we get a motion on the floor to support the funding?
So move.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's moved in second to support the mobility hub and transit center. Any more comments or questions? Since we have been trying this for ever, I don't even know how long it's been that long. Okay, it's been moved in second to support the funding of the transit center and mobility hub. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? There you go. Much success. Okay, go ahead and talk about the stiff service plan for 25 to 27, Melissa.
So I have provided in your packet, and I will share my screen here. There we go. Is that large enough on your end?
No, maybe a little bit more.
We have it in the chart here.
Oh,
Yeah, it's 8 before actually 9. Right there.
you.
Is that better on your side?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Perfect.
Okay, so
That's-
what we learned through this process, I have projected some operational increases, fuel, salaries, etc., and overhead increases, and I have plugged in our revenue sources. So we have the STI formula, we have the fares, 5310, 5311, and then we calculated on what will fit in this budget. Knowing that we have some significant infrastructure investments that we need to make. And so as you can see of our total investments here, we want to make sure we have sufficient funds for to keep up with vehicles, rotating off older vehicles and bringing on new vehicles, as well as having sufficient funds to meet our capital match requirements. So we're on a roll of getting more discretionary funds to build our buildings and secure our property. But at the same time, we need to make sure generally there's a 20% match. So we need to make sure that we have sufficient funds so that we can meet our match requirements. As such, I am recommending that we curtail some of our operations in a way that that we can still serve clients to the best of our ability. So for example, let's take Bandon. If we look at Bandon utilization, we're on a busy day, that may be 5 trips. And on a slow day, it may be, 2 customers. And so 5 days a week isn't making much sense currently in Bandon. If we move to 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then the riders can then choose amongst 3 days rather than 5 days, and we can then help them cluster their utilization so that we can save on labor costs and fuel costs. On any questions on Bandon before I leave Bandon and go to our fixed routes?
Melissa, I have a question. Are there days going to Bandon that are more utilized than other days?
So keeping in mind, this is within the Bandon community city limits, right? It's not inner city. This is demand response. Selena, are you available to chat?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell me, are there days of the week that are busier in Bandon than others?
Friday is probably our busiest day in Bandon over the last month.
Thank you.
So that's good because that's included in there. I was thinking if you had more people going on Tuesdays or Thursdays, then that wouldn't make sense, but this works. Thank you.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday was the days of the week that the driver recommended.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions about Bandon?
Comment. I'm from Bandon and sort of feel I'm representing the home team, but I'm also elected by the county, and I think that this is fair and reasonable, and when cuts have to be made, I think Bandon can take a minor hit like that and still serve the public well.
Thank you.
Point.
The fixed route in Coos Bay North Bend, that would be red, green, and blue. Saturdays are not proving out to be utilized very well. And so it is staff's recommendation that we return to Monday through Friday service only. Is there any questions on that particular service?
So, sorry, SAS stands for? Or staff, is that what you said?
Staff.
Okay,
Yes.
hear that. Okay, good. And is this something we might return to at a later date to get Saturdays, or is this not gonna be Saturdays anymore?
My short answer is, when we did our long range plan, our transportation plan, it only projected grant revenues to go down over time and grant revenues not keeping up with operational costs. So at this time, from a sustainability standpoint, my recommendation is that, and rather than fluctuate on and off, that we stick with Monday through Friday for our fixed route service.
Thank you.
The Roseburg, Melissa?
Yeah, then the last change would be Roseburg. Right now, we offer the service Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesdays, this is a service similar to demand response, where people have to have reservations in advance. And so with that, currently, we have Tuesdays and Wednesdays available. Our recommendation is we discontinue publishing the Wednesday alternative and just stick with the Tuesday. We do have individuals who regularly ride on the Tuesday. And then quite often we have to cancel the Wednesday. From a staffing perspective, it's kind of hard having staffing something that often is canceled. And our recommendation is, again, for continuity of service, we just stick with the Tuesday as the option for the service.
That makes sense. And then if we get more grant funds down the way, we can make some changes back, that it's all cost driven, obviously. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? We would continue, of course, Florence running Monday through Saturday.
Any questions or comments in regards to what Melissa's just brought up?
I think it's an important statewide goal to have these inner city connections, and with our airport here, I'd like to keep it that way as long as we can afford to do it. I think it's a great service with lots of potential increase in ridership.
Melissa, you don't need a motion to do these changes?
So on
Are you
this,
gonna cap that with the fair thing? I think it was for here.
so on the stiff service plan, there is a recommended board motion.
Okay. I see you're talking about we're down here talking about the rate things, but then it's actually going back to C. I just couldn't see that.
Yeah, so back to C.
American system of. Okay. Do you want to go finish E first before we do the motion?
Well, first, what we were just reviewing the STIF service plan.
Okay.
And so, does the board have a motion in support of the 25-27 STIF plan?
Get a motion to,
I move to adopt the STIF plan for 25-27 and authorize staff to move forward to submission of the SDIF plan.
get a motion, and do we have a second? Good, thank you. We got a motion and a second to do the plan and submission. Any questions or comments? All those in favor of the plan, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain. There we go. Gotta do what you gotta do there.
So item D is the service curtailment. And what I would like to, for the board to consider is an implementation date for reducing Coos Go Bandon from 5 days to 3 days, discontinuing the Saturday service, and moving Roseburg from 2 days to 1 day. And looking at, we want to give some notice. What would the board think about moving Bandon as early as November 1st? And then Coos Bay, North Bend, discontinuing Saturdays, and Roseburg moving to 1 day a week formally as of December 1st.
I have no problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Does your ridership typically go down after summer?
Yes, it does.
Yes. I wouldn't have any problem with it.
We get a motion on the floor to,
Before that, let me just say this, Bandon's a little different than anywhere that we work, in that our bus driver up there drives every day. He knows every single person that gets on that bus. So making sure the riders know by November the 1st in Bandon is a doable thing. Just so you guys, I mean, it's not something that's gonna sneak up on people. Because 99% of people that ride there know Rick person.
that's good. Could we get a motion on the floor to approve these changes as presented?
I would move that we accept these changes as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
And second, any questions or comments? Yeah, I'd like to see down the road if we have funds available to bring them back as when it's feasible. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Oppose? Abstain? Passes. Fair ordinance, second reading. Okay. Do we have any discussion about the fair ordinance second reading before we do any motions or anything?
This is what we went over last meeting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, so we've got in front of us on 2401-R setting the rates for the transportation. Do we have any do we have a motion on the floor to read the title only of the ordinance?
I move to read the title, I move to read the ordinance in title only.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion.
So, since we have decided to move, Bandon, the Coos Go Bandon, is moving from 5 days a week to 3 days a week, then the, fare cap, that was originally set at 77 a month, for 5 days a week wouldn't be fair. Nobody would spend that much for only 3 days a week. So Melissa has been kind enough to put that to the calculations there that if we made that instead of 77 a month, we made that 46 a month, that would be a fair amount for capping the monthly amount at 3 days a week in Bandon. So I would like to amend that to read $46 a month rather than 77.
Good point. Sounds like a great idea.
Second that motion,
Okay,
that motion.
so we have fair ordinance with a change in the Bandon Cusco from 77 to 46. All those in favor of the motion, fair ordinance by title only, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain. There you go. We've got a fair ordinance and we've got a change there. Now we need to go accept the ordinance reading by title only. And then next we move to pass the fair ordinance on. Can I get a motion on the floor?
Let me interject really quickly. When you move to pass the ordinance, actually, anytime you reference the ordinance now from here until the end, if you guys are wanting to go forward with that amendment, just say as amended when you're talking about the ordinance. So you're going to move to pass the ordinance as amended. See what I'm saying?
I understand.
Cool.
Could I get a motion to pass the fair ordinance as amended?
I move to pass the fair ordinance as amended.
We need to do item 2, move to accept the ordinance as amended, reading by title only.
Thought we did that. Okay, we can go back. Can we get a motion on the floor to move the acceptance of the ordinance title only?
I move to accept the ordinance by title only,
Got
As
it?
amended.
As amended.
as amended.
I say.
Did anybody actually read it? I
No.
realize this is like nitpicky stuff, but move to read the ordinance by title only. Then either Melissa or the chair or I read the title only, and then somebody goes, "Yes, we move to accept this," and then we go, "Yes, we move to pass this." Did anybody actually read it?
No, but
Okay.
isn't the title only fair ordinance?
It would be. Let me pull it up. I'll just do it. How about that?
An ordinance set,
There you go.
okay.
Oh, you got it?
What this is an ordinance setting fares for the use of the district services?
That would be it.
That's the title.
I mean, we said it about 93% of it, yeah. Okay,
No.
move to accept ordinance by title only as amended. An ordinance setting fares for the use of our district services. Do we have a motion out there and a second for this?
I.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Second. Thank you. We've got a moved and second and thirded and fourth and fifth and everything. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? I'm abstaining because it's too confusing. Okay. Okay, now we go to the third theoretically. Move to pass the fair ordinance as amended. Can I get a motion out there?
I move to pass the fair ordinance as amended.
Thanks, Fred.
Second.
Thanks, Mike. Any question or comment? All those in favor of move to pass the fair ordinance as amended, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain. There we go. Now we get to the general manager's report. Yes, we outlasted him. Go for it, Melissa.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen again. So we are moving right along on our Passio Go implementation. This is the public facing cooscounty.passiogo.com. And you can see right now our red line is just coming back onto Ocean Boulevard, on its way to the city library. And so here I can click and it will tell me that it will be arriving in 3 to 4 minutes. And this piece, it's kind of like a soft launch. We're working with our drivers to get them trained up, and we have it public facing so that we can test out how everything is working. And we're super excited about this, aren't we, David?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like the little arrow says which way it's going and everything.
Yeah. So we are getting, hopefully soon, 2 new vans for Dial-A-Ride. And with our new vans, we're going to need to outfit them so that they too get to be on Passio Go. There is a one-time cost for equipment and installation, and that's $6,817.34. And for those 2 new vans, there will be an annual reoccurring cost of $2,510. So I just wanted to check in with the board. Do you support such an investment? Can I get a motion?
We get a motion on the floor to accept Passio on the new vans.
I move. Second.
Been moved in second, discussion. So then obviously there'll be upkeep on the computer systems and stuff like that. That's where we're paying the fees each month, et cetera, et cetera.
Correct.
Good. Any other questions or comments?
I like it.
I'm hoping it'll be a real game changer for riders.
Well, it's kind of neat. You can see where they are and yeah.
Real time.
All those in favor of helping Passio on our new vans, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Good deal. What else do you have, Melissa?
Well, the second question I have for the board is regarding, it's called automated voice announcements. This is a feature that the board could choose to turn on. And so on the red, green, and blue lines, then the tablet would be connected to the PA system on the bus, and with the use of geofencing, automatically announce what stop they are coming up on. So right now, the bus is coming up on Coos Bay City Library. And so if the automated voice announcements was activated, the system would just it'd be kind of like, Siri or, an app on your phone. It would just automatically announce the stop that you're arriving at. This is particularly helpful, of course, if you have someone who has a disability. Would the board be supportive of outfitting 5 vehicles with automated voice announcements for a one-time cost of $15,203 and an annual recurring fee of $2,620 for this feature?
Sounds awfully expensive.
Is that per bus or per?
That was 5 buses, right?
It's 5 buses for that price tag.
That's
$3,000
what, $3
a
grand,
bus.
$3 grand
Yeah.
per bus.
Is it budgeted? Like, do we have it?
Yes, we have it.
So then the recurring was, what was it, 2,200?
2,620.
It is a violation if the drivers don't announce who.
Yeah,
they
they
stop.
still haven't announced it.
I think it's really helpful for the blind and for people who are new in the area.
Wait, so
You know, I, on those hop and goes that you get to, that I was using, you know, and they announce that, they actually have that. I just think it's really helpful.
Jennifer Boardman's got a comment. Jennifer, go ahead. I thought I saw. Go
I was
for it.
just gonna say that it's really helpful because sometimes drivers forget to announce the stops, and for those who have handicapped or are handicapped, this kind of takes that liability off of you as a transit agency because the stops are automatically announced. So it is a nice feature. It is expensive, but it is a nice feature because it kind of covers your bases as far as ADA compliance and making sure that there's multiple ways that people can know where they're stopping.
And you guys have that down there in a lot of your buses, Jennifer?
They have it on RVTD, and Scott also has it on his in Grants Pass. And
Let
also,
us know when you're on a bus and you're not paying attention.
Is that from the same vendor that they have?
I don't believe so. Different. I think RVTD has one. Scott has a different one. Portland has a different one. There's quite a few that are out there. But
Have we shopped that? Have we shopped, price on
it's kind
that?
of a package thing. So usually you have to get it as part of your package for whatever you have. And some of these are designed specifically for larger agencies, and not all of them have. Yeah, I'm sure that Melissa has shopped around.
Yeah, this
Michael,
is
you have a question?
module.
Michael Babcock, question?
Yeah, I was letting Melissa finish. So number one, I just assumed the buses already had this, so I think it would be well worth exploring as a completely blind rider myself, because it would take the onus off of the driver and allow me independence to be able to know when my stop is coming up. Melissa, do you know if, and I am not, but I'm thinking of future proofing, are these announcements in just English or are they English and Spanish? Do you know?
I will have to inquire about it being in both English and Spanish. I'll have to check on that.
Okay. It was just one of the thoughts that I had. I'm really excited and hope that the board is open to passing this because it will provide a lot more independence as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would add that if you're looking at your LEP, which is on your civil rights document or Title VI document, I believe that Coos does not fall within that requirement of a multilingual. There is no additional for that for your area at this time. But it would be something to look at in the future.
Excellent insight.
I know that
Go ahead, Gene, you're legal.
I'm sorry.
That'll
I
be a
will
second.
tell you that I strongly support this just from the perspective of a liability, heading off some liability from the ADA. And the other observation I will make is that I'm pretty sure my mother just brought her entire English as a second language, or whatever they're calling it now, class out to see the transportation situation and talk to David and whatnot. So you definitely do have non-English speakers that are really interested in this.
Fred?
Yeah, I was just curious if we outfit the 5 buses, then if we replace one of those buses, is that piece of equipment able to move?
Yeah, it's a tablet, and they are hardwired into the vehicles. And so when we retire a vehicle, we will disconnect and physically move it to the next bus.
All right, thank you.
We get a motion on the floor to accept the wiring for the 5 buses.
I would move that we accept the
I second.
Excellent. Any question on that? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Sounds like a great idea. Anything more, Melissa?
That is all that I have for this month. Thank you.
Excellent. Board members, do you have any questions or comments you'd like to share at this time?
Just again, Michael, I'm so glad you're on our side on this. Nice having you here and you're proving valuable.
Thank you, Michael Babcock. Appreciate it. General, we now go to citizens' comments. Do you have any citizens' comments out there in the world who can't hear us?
No.
Yes. Okay,
This is Michael. I have one quick question.
excellent.
Melissa, what type of time frame is this to get the buses equipped with the tablets and the audible announcements?
I would hope that we could have it in place by December.
Okay.
Question, Lauren Morris.
Yeah, to Melissa, the last 2 or 3 meetings, we have not had a quorum of the advisory board. Is that something that I can help with as a chair? I know in the past, the board members have, including me, have been called when I've forgotten to appear. So yeah, that's what I'd like to know.
So, yes, Lauren, I will work with you offline and we'll see if we can work on enhancing the attendance.
Yeah, okay, thanks. I think a lot of advisory board members just don't think about it because they're not needed every month. So that would be good. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But we appreciate you guys helping out. Our next meeting is November 11th.
And most of us work.
And before that, you have an opportunity to vote as a US citizen since 91 only. It's a privilege to vote, regardless of who you vote.